Ian, we got a Patreon.
Patreon.com/CU podcast. You go, money, writings, podcasts.
Money? Is money at the Patreon?
Yeah.
What?
Pay some money, you get some writings, you get hangouts, you get podcasts, full video podcasts.
And bonus ones.
Bonus podcasts. Bonus!
It's second place, hardest NES boss fights. 36%. I thought that would win. In first place, retro gaming items you passed on that you regret. Maybe we can work in ones that maybe you let go as well if Ian has trouble thinking of them.
Yeah, you've got a lot, so start with you.
Uh-oh.
Hey, sometimes I carry, sometimes you carry. You're
Okay.
carrying this one.
Okay. Retro gaming items that I passed on and I regret. I've talked about a few before, and I'll come back and I'll lead with them. So my cousin's neighbor had the APF Imagination Machine. So technically that's a computer with the APF MP1000 console built in that you could have learned about watching the video game years 1978, I think. So that is an extremely rare computer. I don't know if they made more than like 5,000 of those things. I don't know if they made more than 1,000. All I know is this. So my cousin goes, yeah, my neighbor got this. You can have it, you know, because this is like 2004. You know, this is like no one cares about this shit for the most part back then.
Right.
It's still like the original like cardboard shipping box, just regular cardboard shipping box. There wasn't like a colored graphic box. Had the printer, had the Imagination Machine module. I think it had the keyboard. Yeah, keyboard's built into it.
Yeah, the keyboard's built in.
Yeah, I'm not looking at it. But then it had all the software, had all the cartridge software with the folders it came in. There was like folders because it had a tape deck.
Right.
How like the color folders, like, oh, this is like spelling, Ian. This is math, or this is finance. Like it had all the because the game console was carts, but the programs were cassettes on it. So I had a lot. Probably this person, Ian, probably bought. I want one of everything.
Yeah,
there was like 12 of them that were there. Had the basic, I think basic learning. I think that was a cartridge. Had that. It was all there, and it was in great condition. They probably used it for a year and then never looked at it again and stored it away.
Too advanced?
I don't know, because like that, it was such a weird machine. Like, why do you need like the game console built in with that? It used the cassettes thing, which never really took off in the US. It took off more overseas because you have to wait for the thing to load. It could take 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes for a program to load.
Right.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Or more, right? I never had one. I never had anything with cassette. I just had an IBM compatible with 5.5s on there, or 5 1/4s, I should say. So this thing is hard to find. I see it come up for sale maybe once or twice a year. If you click on sold listings at eBay, will you even find one on there?
I don't know.
No, I clicked on sold. I don't see anything right now. I see them trying to sell the $200 for not basic, the Imagination Machine Interpreter operating cartridge, whatever language they used. So I don't think it was even basic. So the APF MP1000 console is difficult to find. Ian, has one of the consoles ever been traded into Luna?
No, I don't think I've ever seen an APF come in.
So think about how rare that is versus this.
Like I even saw an Astrocade, 2 Astrocades I think came through Luna, but yeah, I don't think I've ever saw an APF. So what ended up happening was this thing was a big bulk in a box. I'm like, what am I going to do with this, Ian? So I put it on eBay. I gave my cousin, basically, whatever, a 20% for giving it to me, like finder's fee. It ended up selling, I believe, to Germany. So I think it ended up in like a museum or like that's how rare it was. But it didn't sell for a huge amount. I think it went for like $350, $400, which was shocking at the time that someone was interested in it. Right.
Like, who the hell wants this thing? There's no nostalgia for this. So that went and that was gone. And looking back, I'm like, wow, I should have kept that. That would have been one of the rarest things I would have owned. I have an APF MP1000 in the box, and that's incredibly hard to find in the box. I got one of those. I got that off of like Shop Goodwill. The box is in great shape. I think I showed it to you once. Mm-hmm. But I will never come across an Imagination Machine in the wild. Like that's
just not something you're ever going to find.
That's like it was a small, like almost mom and pop business, making these, shipping them out wherever they were located. I don't know if they were in the Midwest. I'm not looking up APF right now. But yeah, that was like their last huzzah APF, because they had done the line of Pong clones in the 70s, and that basically probably put them under.
And that was it, right?
I think that was it.
Yeah,
for APF with that. So that was a big one. A smaller one was, I brought this up on the before. One of the worst swap meet things ever is that I saw the NEC CD unit by itself, literally the black CD cube that you put on to the CD unit, the black unit. I saw it on the ground at the swap meet. This is like 2011 or 10. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I said, NEC did a CD, like a music player? I had no idea. And then I go home, I'm like, no, they didn't, idiot. They just did the TurboGrafx. So somehow the person just had the black square unit without the rest of it that you put it on. I'm like, looking back, I'm like, what the why did I pass that up? Even if it was broken, just to see that. And I remember going back and I couldn't find it. And I tried, and I went back the next week and I couldn't find it either. So someone might have bought that or realized it, or bought it as a CD player, because it works as a CD player.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, this little guy right here.
Yeah.
This is a unit that snaps on the back end of the other thing. That's it. That's all.
Never see those. Just lying around.
Yeah, it was just lying on the ground.
No, that's very strange.
So you wouldn't think about it. It was like, why is it there by itself? There's no turbo stuff around it. I'm like, why is it
right?
There? So I passed on that. The third one irks me the most, and not because of the person I let have.
Okay.
I have to preface that. So this was the very first PRG I went to, Portland one, 2011. The one they used to do at the hotel with the great cookies, the DoubleTree. They used to do it underneath the parking garage.
God.
It was 100 degrees that weekend underneath the parking garage. We were sweltering there. Ian was not at that one.
No, I was not. I heard it was very, very, very hot, very warm.
This was before in October as well. This is before it blew up. Like, it blew up I think 2 years afterwards. It really blew up. So I was there next to my pal Dane Anderson, who ran Nintendo Age, and we're at a table, and I see Three Ninjas Kicks Back for Super Nintendo, which is a hard to find game. This had the box there. This had the box. At the time, the Super NES games weren't like ridiculously expensive as they are now, but that game, probably Three Ninjas at the time, probably the cart was only like $10, $5 to $10. Probably with the box, it was probably like a $20 to $30 game. Now, that game goes for a obscene amount. What does it even go for? If I search it right now, the cart goes for over $100 on its own. With the box, you can't even find one. I remember it didn't have the manual though, so I remember I picked it up and was going to buy it because I knew it was hard to find. It was only like $10 with the box there. Like, they weren't asking like a premium even with that. And Dane was like, "Hey Pat, he's like, oh, I really want the box," because he's going for Dane at his peak had a complete in box NES, Game Boy, Super, I think N64. He was going for complete in box and everything. So I let him get it. I said, "Okay, Dane, you're a good guy. I'll let you have it here." By the way, I can't even find a sold one in the box. The manual goes for $250 on its own, so it's probably a $1,000 game at this point.
Jesus H.
So that doesn't bother me. I love Dane. The fact, though, that game ended up in the fucking hands of this Jeff Meyer, who ended up buying Nintendo Age, and one of the fucking Heritage Auction WADA Cabal members. That's what annoys me, looking back.
Yeah.
You don't know what the person's going to do with something, but obviously, had I known that, knowing that something I passed up on and ended in that person's hands,
douchebag's hands,
that annoys me.
Sure,
that annoys me. If Dane still had it, I wouldn't care that it's worth $1,000 now. You don't know the price of things going up and down. You don't know what's going to happen in 10 years, 12 years.
Right.
You don't know what's going to happen with that stuff. So those are the three big ones. What about you? Even anything you regret not even passing up on that you like let go, that you're like, that was a bad idea?
There's not a lot, although I do regret, I feel like I've said it on here before, I do regret not buying any of the copies of Panzer Dragoon Saga that came into Luna.
Okay, because they would come in every now and then. I mean,
we had like 3 or 4 copies come in probably during my time, and they were always priced about what they were going for. But I remember one time Treg slapped a $650 price tag on it when he could have easily gotten $750 for it.
Like 10 years ago? Well,
not even 10 years ago. Although longer ago than I'm probably thinking in my head. And I remember thinking in my head, this is still too expensive for me, but this is like my best opportunity to get it.
You always had wanted it.
Well, I want to get it for Vonnie because she's the Saturn collector. So I've always wanted to get it for her. And I passed on it. I knew it was a good deal at the time. I didn't have the money. And now that it's over, well over 1,000, I feel
Holy shit, is it?
Oh yeah, it's well over 1,000.
Panzer, Dragoon.
Now that it's well over 1,000, I feel like, my time has really kind of passed on picking it up.
Oh my God. I remember it was like at $700 for a long time.
Yeah.
And now, yeah, you're right. I'm looking at the sales on price charting, 1,000, 1,100, 1,200. It looked like, from December, 1,250, 1,300, 1,400, 1,400. Wow.
Yep. Yeah. So expensive stuff that I don't have the money for right now.
I got mine from good old Nintendo. No, I didn't get mine from Nintendo. Damn, I got from, where did I get mine from? It'll come back to me. Forgotten Freshness. I got it from Forgotten Freshness.
Nice.
It was books and cash trade. That's what it was.
Way to do it.
Freshness. That's where I got it from. No, they're not going to get that one from Nintendo. Dan didn't have that one. I remember that. I got a bunch of other Saturn stuff. I didn't get that one. So that's one that escaped you. Anything else from the store that came in that you're like, looking back, you should have went for maybe?
So it's weird. I'm not too beat up over it, but I do wish I had grabbed a Vectrex as well while they were reasonably priced.
When they were only like $100, $80.
I remember seeing a couple of loose Vectrexes at Luna for like 120. 150. I think we had a boxed complete one in there that only went for 250 at one point in time.
God, what do those go for now?
I don't know. But again, it's one of those things where even if they were roughly that price, I'm probably not going to go out of my way to get it. But there was something about the convenience of working at Luna that made some of these pickups easier. And I wish I had gotten some of them when I did. But it's
I had those 2 extras at one point.
I used to buy a ton of stuff, and I'm still living in an apartment where I bought, too much stuff, and I've slowly been getting rid of it. I'm well beyond. Sometime within the past 4 or 5 years, I've really learned to just not buy shit. And, because of that, I'm never going to go out and buy, it's unlikely that I'm ever going to get a Vectrex. However, if I was still working at Luna, I would have liked to have gotten one of those.
Well, maybe when Pat has his mental breakdown,
yeah,
you can pick out a Vectrex. I got the one complete in box.
Pick out a Vectrex.
Well, I got the loose one somewhere, and I have the complete in box one.
Yeah.
And the box is perfect. It doesn't match the serial, though, of the console. But the box I have, I forgot where I bought them. I mean, it's like, I hate saying the word minty, but like, it's like they opened it up and somehow had the box stay perfectly after that. And I have all the inserts and all that crap, but it's not the matched one. They had a serial number on the outside for whatever reason. But no, Vectrex is a weird one. It's a console that shouldn't cost that much, but I think that's so kitschy and cute that's why people are after it.
Yep. No, that's exactly.
No, it used to be $75, $80 for one, $100 maybe for a Vectrex, and now it's hundreds of dollars just to get a Vectrex without games.
Yep,
that's insane for that. All right, well, we're probably gonna have regrets of stuff we sell. Well, at least when I sell a bunch of stuff, I'm gonna be like, I regret selling my Sega Scope 3D box. I'm not gonna regret that. I'm not selling the Master System 2. That's the one I had when I was a kid. Oh no, with dumbass Alex Kidd on the cover.
Yeah.
No, that's actually hard to find too. You don't find those easily. So that's the one I definitely would hold on to. So, all right. Well, thanks for voting on the Patreon poll, patreon.com/CUpodcast.
Yeah.